Hi guys, Tal here. In this video, I will take you through the process of Venafi Trust Platform install process. I'll start with PowerShell, and I will use one of those wonderful scripts that our professional services guys created over the time. And this one will make sure that I have all components already installed on my target machine. You can download this script on our website under support.venafi.com, and you can see my parameter. It's -install. It will go away, check all roles, features, and additional packages that those are installed on a server, and if something is missing, it will install it on the fly. Or if you can see, in my case, all results are green, meaning I have everything in place. My next step is to extract MSI file from a zip. So by the way, what you see on the screen, it's how we deliver our installables. This is version 18.1, but all previous, and I believe also version at least 18.2 and 3 will look very similar from the package structure. I will run this Venafi VTPP installer within the same PowerShell privileged PowerShell window. So our requirements is to run it with elevated permissions. I like to think about install as two-step process. First one is when we drop all files on the system, and the second stage is when configuration takes place. So let's wait for the files to be dropped on the system. I will make a little bit fast forward here. First stage done. Now we're going to configure the system. You can see two radio buttons. One is for fresh install. Second one is for secondary unit or secondary Venafi server that you want to add to the cluster. The difference between the two is the amount of questions that you will be asked as a part of this install wizard. I have my SQL database, and this is what everyone needs to have. This is the backend database. Today we support Microsoft SQL only. One thing that I'm going to do ahead of the time is to create a database on the server itself. So I will call it TK Venafi. The package that we deliver include a folder called database script. Under MS SQL, you will find one called createdb. So this particular script you must run before we start the second stage, and this is where we will create all structure for the database. It's very quick procedure. If you don't have enough permissions, if a SQL being managed by a different group, there's another set of script that you need to run, again exists in the same folder, called grant permissions. I will select options that I need to install. I will go with all those options. Every piece of secret information that Venafi operates and write to a database encrypted ahead of the time. We can use HSM to store encryption key, or we can use Microsoft DP API to encrypt those secrets that we put in database. Now I need to connect myself to database, so I will use SA as a user. Venafi also support Windows native authentication. In my case, it's mixed authentication. I pass a database settings. It means that I can access the database. Now I'm going to create a super user, what we call master admin, on the database, and this is going to be the first user in Venafi platform. We will see later on what actually we should do with this user, but I can spoil it to you a little bit. This user need to be used only to access to the system. Day by day, you should not use this user. You should not grant any permission to this user on the policy tree. Then you select where this instance installed, whether it's a prod environment or QA environment. You give it the name of your organization. You agree to share with the vendor some of telemetrics of application. And then Wizard will continue and run by itself, creating needed structure in database and defining a secret key that in our case we selected to be software based, so it's going to generate this key, wrap it in such way so that we can use it with the database. So let me fast forward so we can see the end result. Okay, so we have Wizard done its operation, and the next thing that you will see happening is Venafi configuration console will pop up. Here you can see all services that make a product. Later on you will discover what each one means, but it's straightforward. One server responsible to run network discovery, and other service responsible to perform monitoring on the certificate or maybe CA import and so on. Also in the same application we will create a connection to HSM if needed. I have another video so you can check out how to create a HSM connector. But what is important, and I really would like to stress it, the next thing that you will do is to back up database encryption key. Here you will specify the file name that you want to use to store this key, and you will provide a strong password that will encrypt entire content of this file. The file itself, it's not a big one because it's technically include only a symmetric key, so I need to provide a valid password here. And then you can see the file being created on my desktop. Store this file somewhere secure. We will not need it every day, but when restore will happen or additional server will be required to be installed, we will have use of this file. Last thing that we will do here, we will start our Venafi services. Usually we would like to go and start a logging service first and then Venafi service, and if you need to shut down, you will shut down Venafi first and logging second. The idea is if there's any log that happen when you start and stop Venafi, still can process and reflect in a database or put it in database so you can analyze it later. What I do now, I need to bind my Venafi instance to Active Directory. So I will open interface that we call WinAdmin. This is one of those latest versions. You can see Venafi VTPP, our master admin account that I created, and you can see that as a part of a local user repository. Now I'm going to connect this Venafi instance to Active Directory. I'm going to click on Wizard. I'll select Active Directory, and now I need to type a username that is my service account. Now the way how I type it, it's what we call UPN format that looks like an email. So next I need to type my domain controller, fully qualified domain name. And I use a connection, the way how we want to connect. Before I can reach my FQDN, I need to point to appropriate DNS server. So let me real quick to set up a DNS server. Let me try it again. Okay. So this is my domain. I click on next. If I would have more than one domain controller or global catalog, I will see a list here. What you would like to do is to select one with the lowest latency. I will select the container where my users will reside. If you have a big Active Directory with a lot of different OUs, and you know exactly where all your users that you're going to refer in Venafi platform resides, you can select this particular OU. And then I will give it a name. It's more like a friendly name, the way how it will be reflected in Venafi product. Click on next, click on finish. Now Venafi will create some LDAP query with a service account that we set up in the first place, and a fully qualified domain name. It knows where to go and how to create a query about users. So we're done here, and we're done with configuration console. Next, we're ready to go and run Venafi web admin. Website presents self-signed certificate, so this is the next step what we will do, but all those I consider to be post setup procedures, and there's a bunch of those, such as replace the certificate or customize alert messages or create some workflow or network discovery jobs. So all this we will find in my other video. Guys, for now, thank you for watching, and I will see you on my next video.